guys, we are at the racetrack. I know some of you didn't think you'd see the day, but I was back at the racetrack. But here I am. Car is soaking wet. It is extremely foggy out here. No, that's not just some fancy CGI filter. It is very foggy. I'm gonna unload it, dry it off, and do some racing. Everybody's starting to show up, but with this fog, we're probably gonna be off to a little bit of a late start because you can't see, you know, 60 feet down the track.
Yeah.
That's an exaggeration. Maybe 300 feet. Yeah, let's walk up to the line. We got some dude with a generator over here being pretty loud. Friggin' Travis.
Good old Bradenton. Foggy as heck.
Yeah, when you can't see the scoreboards from the 60-foot cone,
yeah,
it's not good.
I don't know if you guys can really tell how foggy it is, but it is foggy.
Yep.
But usually it'll clear up like here in Florida.
Yeah,
like
it's only
the morning,
like 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8:45 right now, so
yeah.
Hopefully it'll burn off.
Yeah. I'm
sure it will, but very humid. Track is wet just because of the humidity right now. Mm-hmm. And the same with the car. Mm-hmm. So unload it, get it warmed up, prep it, nitrous bottles warm, all that fun jazz, and then like a pass.
Oh.
Yep. So that's the plan. Oh man. What? I'm not editing that out.
No, I redeemed myself.
Not editing.
Okay, I'm doing lefty. Huh.
You're 2 feet away.
First time using the radio at the track?
Please call it a boombox.
You're way too excited about this.
I can never hear anything at the track.
I know. I was right. Nice.
Now we can hear the announcements.
Once we get towards the end of the track prep, we'll be...
It's a good sound. That's the sound of two cars dead hooking.
Getting suited up?
Yep, putting on my pants.
Jump into them.
Oh, there you go. Lots of smoke out there. Once again, one on the wall right there. So let's get
I jumped, I hopped.
Let's see there. Let's see the camera pan there.
I have to leave that in.
I will.
Because I need to rewatch that a million times.
What, you think I'm worried about people making fun of me? Come on.
Getting suited up here to go make a first test pass.
Yep, car's ready to go. Fuel, nitrous.
Is it iced down? Do I need to do that?
I just need to throw a bag of ice in it, yeah.
Okay. This is the first pass on the new turbo, right?
First pass, new turbo, wing, alignment, wheels.
Does it have a new tune in it, the Alpha
It does have a new tune in it. So we'll see what it does on the new tune.
And you've already done the smooth stage, right? That works.
Yeah, that should work, but it's a little different when you're in the beams than in the driveway because the track prep holds you differently. Mm-hmm. So like it tries to lunge more in the driveway or spin the tires.
Yeah.
Whereas in the prep it won't.
Yeah. But it seems
so there's really no way to fully test it unless you're like testing it.
Right, yeah. Well, hopefully it all goes smooth. I think it will.
Hopefully the smooth stage is smooth.
Yeah, the sun is coming out, which is good. Yep. Less foggy, the track's ready to go.
Guys are gonna love the explanation for that one. So I let off the trans brake, and as soon as the car started moving, the steering wheel came off because it wasn't clicked in all the way. So I'm sitting here like this, and the steering wheel goes like this, and I look down, and I immediately got on the brakes. But yeah, so note to self: do one of these. Classic. Yep. So always click your steering wheel in. You'll have that, I guess. You know. I mean, that could have been really bad, but thankfully it wasn't. Unfortunately, I didn't even get 60-foot data. Big oof.
Oh.
So I launched and the steering wheel wasn't clicked in, so it came off.
Shut up, Cooper.
So I looked down and I had no steering input, so I just immediately got on the brakes.
Oh.
Yeah. Nothing against anybody who built this. Call them. Motion Raceworks did great.
You just didn't push it in all the way.
I didn't click it in all the way.
Oh.
Note to self, do a little.
I know Victor and Jim and James were like, something didn't sound right. Like they were like, it just went right, you know? Like they were like, did something break?
Well, it wanted to drive right regardless, and then also I had no steering input.
Oh man.
So, you know, it's just the way it works sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
But it seemed like it was gonna hook, which is good.
I know. It was like
It looked like it was gonna leave.
Yeah, and the bump box was perfect and
yeah,
everything.
the bump box
like,
worked.
Yeah.
I bumped in a little farther than I would have liked to, but
yeah, well, it jumped a little bit.
it worked.
But everything's
I was
good.
keeping my foot on the brake to hold it still.
Okay. But everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good. Car's happy. It got up on the trans brake. Nitrous worked. All that fun stuff. Did a good burnout.
Yeah.
But
rookie move.
Rookie move. Hey, you're never gonna believe what happened. Do you hear?
Well, I was up there watching.
Yeah, so I launched off the trans brake like normal, and my steering wheel came off. So hard on the brakes.
They'll do that if you don't make sure they're on.
That was my main flaw.
I was like, man, that car went right fast.
So it must have been like 1 or 2 degrees turned, you know, and then the front end got light, and like I kind of did one of these, and then it was off like all at once. Because, you know, 1 degree turn that far out, it's gonna be drastic.
Yeah. What was this like?
Yeah.
Right. I was like, oh, and then he like went way right.
Because I had no steering, and it probably was just like a little bit turned, and then it just exaggerated once it was out farther.
Yeah. Gotta make sure those are on there.
Yeah, you know, don't
Maybe
just
a second tug.
Don't just tighten the wheels on your car, tighten the steering wheel too. Yep. I was like, man.
Well, that's good. At least it was something like that.
Bronte was like, what happened? I'm like, you're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna like it either. Setting up here for pass number 2. I'm gonna make sure the steering wheel is good and tight.
Sounds
do
like...
a little double shake.
Yeah.
You know, if you shake more than twice, you're just playing with yourself at that point.
Also been kind of battling some rain, you can kind of see.
Battling some
which has
rain.
Literally happened to every race we've been at. We've gotten rained out, so we're not gonna get rained out, but we have been dealing.
Like, thankfully it didn't like pour rain.
Yeah, it just
so they were able to dry it quickly, and the car didn't like get soaking wet to where it's just dripping water.
Yeah.
It just got moderately damp. We were able to keep it dry, kept the tent over it. Just been hanging out, been snacking, drinking beverages, you know, the normal hoopla.
You can't really tell, but the clouds look pretty scary behind
They
you.
look angry.
Yeah, but hopefully it holds off and we can get a good pass. And
Yep.
then... Woo, sounds good. What are you guys doing?
Diagnosing a bunch of stuffs, why it did what it did, and make it not do what it did.
Alright.
That's the goal. Not 100% sure what it did yet, but we'll know shortly.
What's going on here? You and Alpha just had a little funny encounter.
I didn't have a second set of spark plugs because I normally just go to the track with the spark plugs in the car and then do the same thing the next race with the same spark plugs. I mean, nitrous cars change them all the time, but turbo cars shouldn't have to do that. But I'm both.
So Alpha's what?
I don't know. I don't know if he's just going home after that.
He seemed pissed. No, not
was
really.
Smiling. He had a slight smile, so.
He was laughing.
Yeah. Wait until I tell him my 2 of the plug wires got ruined too. Coming off.
No.
Those I have more of, but.
Okay. Gotta fix some stuff up now?
Yeah, I gotta feed things to him slowly. Try not to hit him with all of my mistakes at once. I have J-Rod's car, first round, geo driving.
It's gonna be good.
My trans brake isn't engaging. So,
Gotta get up there and do our thing.
foot brake a 2J car. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Something will happen. I'll have mile an hour.
You want a spare nitrous kit?
Yeah, let me get a second kit, please. It'll be fun though, man. Good luck.
All right, good luck, man.
Buddy J-Rod's car, built by Real Street. My car, built by Induction, but we are having a slight issue with it, so trans brake won't work. So I'm gonna have to try to foot brake it and see what happens. I'll be slow on the tree, and I may go through the beams. So one of 2 things will happen. Tough brake, but that's racing.
What'd you say?
The trans brake started working. Let's hope it keeps working.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of action happening right now. All right, so we had some last minute fixins with Alpha.
Oh yeah.
And now we're kind of rushing up there, gonna just...
We're bringing up a semi-handicapped car right now.
Yeah. The trans brake is kind of working. So... No, it's not.
Not working.
What?
The trans brake is not working.
Not working. So, kind of gonna wing it here.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I'm racing the only other 2J in the class,
Yeah.
and he was the one that kindly gave me spark plugs.
It's that Supra he's racing up there. And we're just kind of gonna see how it goes.
Yep.
Nothing really to lose here.
I'd rather go out like this than just sitting on the trailer.
I agree. So, here we go.
Well guys, that's how it goes sometimes. Both of us had problems. He had some problems 60 footing off the line, but my problems were in the spark area. What a way to go out. I was like, man, maybe I can chase him down.
I know.
And then he floored it and I was like, oh, goodbye. See ya. It's nice knowing you, Gio. He had problems in the 60 foot and then I saw him like a little bit behind me. And then I was like, oh, it's happening. And then the car was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, ah, the car's worth more to me than this win. And then he really gunned it. Sometimes that's how it happens. Unfortunately, with race cars, they work 7 days a week except for race day. And that's just how it is. I will see that car again in Texas, which I'm pretty excited about because we get to have a little rivalry now. both terrible passes. That's it. That's our streetcar takeover. I know it wasn't exciting in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you guys saw some burnouts. That's something. But other than that, that's where we're at. So I'm gonna de-suit and watch how the class unfolds. What do you think, Brownsy? A little disappointed?
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
it happens.
it seemed like it left good and then it just didn't, like, wasn't picking up on the top end. Is that like?
It was having a spark issue.
Yeah.
And like the problem is,
when you left, I was like, woo, and then like died down. He flew past you. I was like, damn.
yeah. Be back. Make sure where this thing's dialed in for TX2K is now the goal. It's crazy because like I just drove it the other day on the street and it was fine.
I know.
And then, like I said, they work every day except race day. Yep, well, we'll be back with you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna unwind from that pass, get my thoughts together. What's going on, guys? So this video does not have as much context as I would have liked. It was a crazy hectic day, super busy, a lot of work. I was basically on my feet, working, doing something the entire day at the track, trying to get the car right. It was a very busy day. So I didn't get to pick up the camera and explain enough of what was going on. These one-day races are very packed, very tight, and then when the car's having issues, that just makes it even harder. So I figured I would hop on in here and kind of commentate and explain what happened in between rounds. I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. I am just explaining what happened. You can take that as excuses if you want, but that's the way racing goes sometimes. And I am perfectly fine with it. I got in my car, trailer in the car home, and I was smiling from ear to ear because it was just fun, you know? I really genuinely enjoy racing. I had so much fun, and they're just such great people. Win or lose, car giving me problems, I had a blast. I got there and the car, in my opinion, seemed to be running fine. I had driven it on the street for a while the day before. I got it up on the trans brake. Everything felt good. You know, punched it a little bit on the street. Like, the car felt good to me. It wasn't breaking up, wasn't doing anything crazy. But as soon as I pulled into the beams after the first burnout, it seemed a little off. Like, it seemed like maybe it was misfiring. I kind of ignored it a little bit because, like, I was like, oh, well, it's probably okay. Like, I have to get this test pass in. I have to see what it does. And staged up, got on the trans brake, bump box worked great. I was really excited about that. And then the second I let off the bump box on the first pass, wouldn't you know, the steering wheel comes off with it. So I was out of it like 20 feet out. I was just on the brakes hard and trying to keep it off the wall because the steering wheel came off and I must have been like 1 or 2 degrees turned to the right. So it just kind of wanted to keep going towards the wall. It was probably gonna sputter and pop like it was doing for the rest of the day. So who's to say what that first pass would have done? You live and you learn. Make sure that steering wheel is tight. That's something I definitely learned real quick. I'm very thankful it didn't happen farther along in the pass, but when you experience that maximum G-force, that's when it's gonna happen. So we get back to the pits. I explain what happened. We all joke, laugh for a little while. Everybody asked me if the car broke. No, the car didn't break. I was just being stupid. The tuner was there, Alpha, at that point, and he's looking over the logs, you know, making sure the car is good. And I don't really have any logs to give him, unfortunately, at this point, because the car didn't do anything. And as far as we can tell, the car is fine. So we pull back up for another pass. So it did a good burnout. It felt really solid in the burnout. Nitrous was clearly working. Everything was on correctly. We verified that. And the second I let off the trans brake button, like, felt good on the trans brake. Second I let off the button, it just like fell on its face. Like, it wouldn't RPM. It was just like popping and sputtering. So I was completely out of it right away and just grabbed second gear and cruised down the track. It sucks, but that was my qualifying pass. So they split up my class, the street racer, into a couple different speed categories, and they just based my qualifying hit off of what I normally run, and then they put me in to draw chips with everybody. So it was completely fair. They just kind of threw me in to the wolves a little bit, which I wanted. I was hoping to be in the faster class because I like competing with the top dogs in the race, so to say. And I was excited. I was like, all right, cool. You know, we'll go over the car a little bit. We'll get it figured out. Like, I'll pull back up there ready for the first round of eliminations. We went back, we thrashed on the car. We changed spark plugs. We were checking coils. We were unplugging the injectors to see if we could figure out an injector issue. It is just having this weird, non-spark issue. We changed plug wires. We were messing with that. Just an array of problems, and we were hustling. Like, we were borrowing parts from people. We were, you know, trying. Like, I actually said before the last pass, when they came and asked me if my car was going to be ready, I said, no, it's not going to be ready. And we were able to, just in the nick of time, pull out of my spot and pull into the lanes and tell them we were ready to race. Like, there was going to be a bye run, but thankfully I was able to fill it in. It sucks how it happened, but that's how it goes sometimes. I mean, we pulled up and the car felt okay. Seemed good. We thought the trans brake wasn't working, and it wasn't for a second, but then when I go to pull up into the lanes, all of a sudden I checked it a little bit and it was working, so that was good. I was a little nervous about that one because that may be a bigger issue if the trans brake stops working. So the no spark issue, we changed a bunch of stuff. We obviously didn't have a new set of injectors or a new set of coils because that stuff's not really something you fully keep with you. Coils, I'll probably keep a few extra with me now on, but I'm never gonna keep a full set of ID 2650 injectors with me. It's just unreasonable. So unfortunately, I did not have a set of injectors to put in there, which would have taken probably more time than I had in between rounds. They move along pretty quickly, so you only get about 35-40 minutes in between rounds to turn your car over for the next round. So I pulled up to my last pass, and it was kind of surreal to me because I drew Gio, who was driving the Real Streets green Supra owned by Jared Holt. And that car to me is kind of like one of the cars that really got me into Supras and 2Js in the race scene. Like, I always loved 2Js and Supras as street cars, but after seeing what his car did at places like World Cup and street car takeovers around the country and TX2K and stuff throughout the years, I've just really grown to love that combination. He's got a lot of really awesome things that I would hope to have someday, but I'm not quite there yet. That car's been running mid to low sevens for the last like almost 2 years now, and it's just extremely well dialed in. So I knew when I drew him, it was gonna be an uphill battle no matter what. But like the video shows, guys, the same thing happened. I pull up into the beams, got on the trans brake, felt good. The second I let off the button, the car just and just like kind of falls off. It was clearly blowing spark out or some kind of no spark issue. It could be injectors being clogged. We have a couple different ideas that we want to try to figure out before the next test and tune. And then a side note, unfortunately, Gio spun his tires and ran like a 990. So like, I could have had a really good chance of knocking him out and putting him on the trailer first round, which would have been like really surreal because the car is just such a big part of why I like this style so much and the street 2J stuff so much. And the guys over at Real Street are just really awesome. They were helpful the whole time. They gave me spark plugs because I forgot to bring them. I told him my trans brake wasn't working right, and he said he would let me go in first and he would just pull in. Like, he was so helpful the whole time, which is so sportsmanlike and exactly what I love about racing, that even the guy you're competing with is trying to help you get down the track. That's just so awesome. I ended up telling him my trans brake was working, so I told him to just go in like normal race, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a normal heads-up race. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but I messaged them and told them I am coming for them in Texas. We're both going to be at TX2K, and I definitely would like to line back up with them because that car is so cool. It is such a weapon. It is a well dialed in weapon. Unfortunately, they did have a problem on their last pass with the transmission not wanting to shift or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure, but they ended up getting beat by that green RX-7 that you guys have probably seen a few times. He ended up winning the Christmas tree race that we did. He won a couple other classes I've been in, and he unsurprisingly also won this class I was in with a best pass of 687. So he had the field covered by about 0.2 of a second, probably about 0.4 of a second-ish. So he's well above and beyond what the rest of the class is doing. They're just crushing it. Those guys have a well dialed in combo. Rick and his team with that green RX-7 just it runs 680s like clockwork. The only times it doesn't run 680s is when he lifts because he's so far ahead of people. He will literally throw the parachutes at 1,000 feet and be on the brakes just because he knows where he's at on the track and where everybody else is. Very cool to see those guys continue to just be consistent with that car, because being consistent is really awesome to watch. I really hope to be there someday. It's always good to go out to a competition like this, even if I know I'm an underdog, because every time I compete, I learn so much about the combination, my car. I get so much more confident in my racing. I get so much better data in a way on what I need to bring with me and what I need to have, because you never know until you actually know. And now things are added onto my list that were not on my list before, and a lot more streamline of a team and how we can do things. So hopefully when we go out to our next event, TX2K, and that's going to be a big race, we can go out there and really show up. I want to be able to be consistent down the track every time. So there's going to be a good amount of test and tunes in between here in Texas. We're going to get the car dialed in. I would have loved to test last week, but it just was not in the cards. I did not have the, I just couldn't make it happen, unfortunately. It was just a bunch of reasons why that it wouldn't work out. There was too much going on. The car was not right yet. So now we know what we need to do. I want to pull out my injectors, get them cleaned, go through basically the whole ignition system and make sure everything's good. Fresh plug wires, fresh plugs, clean the injectors, bring some extra coils around and mix and match them to see if any ones are wrong or if any ones aren't firing right. There's just a few things I need to change and figure out, and that will help me a lot in this racing program moving forward from here, because, you know, no good racing program appeared overnight, and we are just figuring it out and getting there. Thankfully, I have a great team behind me. The guys over at Induction have been so helpful. They're incredibly good team to work with. Alpha, the tuner, he was there all day getting his hands dirty, not just on the laptop. So much thank you to him, because he was just like first one there, ready to pull the car apart, ready to diagnose it, like huge. So without those guys, I wouldn't even be nearly where I'm at right now. Unfortunately, that's just racing though, guys. You have to understand that there's going to be plenty of downs and there's going to be hopefully many more highs, but you learn more from the low points than you do from the high points. I'm not mad about it. I get it. I could have tested the car more. I wish I did, but in the end of the day, there's always another race. The car is still here in one piece. It just needs some fresh components and a quick gone through, but we are going to be coming out to Texas ready to rip, and you will see a lot more testing in between now and Texas, but just be prepared to see more 1/8 mile testing than 1/4 mile testing, because it is so much easier on the car to run the car just to the 1/8 and lift than it is to run through the 1/4. And this stock block only has so many passes on it before it won't be doing its thing anymore. So that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I am just beyond happy that I'm able to do the things that I'm doing because of you guys. I absolutely love racing. I am loving the competition. It is so much fun. The class is so awesome. There are such good people out there, and it is just unreal to be able to do this every single day. Thanks to you guys watching, subscribing, liking, all of that good stuff, buying the merchandise. You guys are the only reasons that I can actually do this. Me and Bronte, thank you so much. That'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.